Muhammad Ali was known as one of the greatest boxers in history. He was a revolutionary and an inspiration to many. In 1967, Ali was drafted to fight in the Vietnam War, but instead of giving in, he stood up for his religion and decided not to fight.
Muhammad Ali refusing to be inducted due to his faith in the Nation of Islam was an action of bravery. He stood up against the federal government and the general public for what he believed in.
The real enemies of my people are right here.
Before he became the great Muhammad Ali, he was Cassius Clay Jr. Cassius grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. At the time, Louisville was heavily segregated. Young Cassius was always very aware of this, but like many others, he thought nothing could be done about it.
As a child, Cassius was baptized in a Christian church. He later exclaimed that he did it not because he wanted to, but because he was told to. At the age of 12, an event happened that changed Cassius's life.
He had just gotten a new bike, and he went to ride it downtown. The whole day, he and his friends went around town buying junk food from various vendors, but when they got back, the bike was gone. He was absolutely furious that somebody had the nerve to take it. He wanted to fight the guy who took it. He stormed downstairs to see Joe Martin, a police officer who trained young boxers in his spare time. Cassius asked Joe to arrest the man who stole the bike so he could beat him up. Joe looked at the scrawny little Cassius and said he would need some training first. This was the root of Cassius's love for fighting, and more importantly, his want to stand up for himself.
Fast forward some years, and Clay was winning all of his amateur matches. He would often predict the round in which he would defeat his opponent and shout out that he would become the greatest of all time.
Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
All the years I was with him, he was still good looking, you know, and he was always saying, "Charles, I'm a pretty guy."
This made Cassius have a very cocky but lovable reputation. His famous ego was one of the reasons why so many people looked up to him and believed in what he did. At the age of 18, Clay made it to the Olympics in Rome and achieved one of his very first dreams. This is when problems and controversies started to begin that would change Cassius Clay's life completely.
After going to the Olympics, Cassius started secretly getting involved with the Nation of Islam. Elijah Muhammad, who was the last known messenger of Allah and the leader of the Muslim religion, was a man that Cassius followed dearly. He would preach of peace and solving problems with non-violence. Clay would travel across the country to furtively attend rallies. Clay would say that all religions were good, but he had never seen such a nice and loving group of people as the Muslims.
The religion is good, but the people do things in the name of the religion. A lot of Muslims do things they shouldn't do. A lot of Protestants, a lot of Buddhists, a lot of Hindus live like they shouldn't live. But the religion itself, the religion is right, but the people who follow religion ain't so right. So I choose to follow the Islamic path because I've never saw so much love. I never saw so many people hugging each other, kissing each other, praying 5 times a day, the women in the long garments.
The word had started getting out about the rallies and Cassius's intentions of converting religions. Many were worried that this decision had the potential of ruining his career. At the time, the Black Muslim movement was very frowned upon by whites, and a lot of them thought that the Muslims were teaching terrible things. Many thought that the Muslim religion was just a group of communists. Nevertheless, Cassius wanted to follow what he believed. February 25, 1964 was a very important date for 2 reasons. Cassius Clay knocked out Sonny Liston in 7 rounds and became the heavyweight champion. That was always a dream of his, but Cassius also announced to the world that he had converted to being a black Muslim and changed his name to Muhammad Ali.
Why do you insist on being called Muhammad Ali now?
Well, that's the name given to me by my leading teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's my original name. That's a black man name. Cassius Clay was my slave name. I'm no longer a slave.
This made Muhammad Ali become a very controversial person. The fun-loving trash talker was getting involved in topics other than boxing, and it caused many people to resent him. On the other side of the world, conflicts between Vietnam and China were brewing. China invaded Vietnam, and with the help of Soviet Union, their plan was to spread communism further throughout that side of the world. President Lyndon B. Johnson saw this as a threat to humanity and sent American troops over to defend southern Vietnam.
The people of South Vietnam have fought for many long years. Thousands of them have died. Thousands more have been crippled and scarred by war. And we just cannot now dishonor our word.
Many saw this war as thousands of pointless deaths. It was common of people to be highly opposed to the Vietnam War. As a result of this war, the standards for young men to be drafted were lowered. Now you could be 18 and be inducted. This rule caused people in that age range to feel like it was not right for them to be deprived of voting, but eligible to go to war. This caused the 26th Amendment, which stated, "The right of the citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on the account of age." The result of the new age group eligibility was hundreds of thousands of young men being drafted and sent over to fight for their country. The heavyweight champion was no exception. Originally, Ali was not eligible to fight in the war. He took a test issued by the government and failed the test miserably, proving that he did not have the proper skills to fight for the military. Unfortunately for Ali, the government needed more soldiers in Vietnam, and in 1965 the standards for the test were lowered. That meant that Ali was eligible to be inducted. Sure enough, on April 28, 1967, Muhammad Ali was inducted into the United States military to fight in the Vietnam War.
Former world heavyweight champion Cassius Clay refused to take the oath of induction into the Army. The black Muslim fighter, who is also known as Muhammad Ali, was immediately stripped of his title by the World Boxing Association. Clay insisted that he is an ordained minister and should be exempt.
This started a battle between Ali and the government that changed the U.S. forever. Ali's reason for refusing induction was because he believed in peace. He was an ordained minister for the Nation of Islam, and in the Quran, which is the book that Muslims follow, it states that Muslims are opposed to all wars. That meant that Ali was a conscientious objector. That is somebody who avoids the armed forces for moral reasons. Another reason that Ali had for avoiding the draft was that the Vietnamese people had never done anything to him.
I will not go 10,000 miles from here to help murder and kill another poor people simply to continue the domination of white slave masters over the darker people of the earth.
He made a decision that he felt was in keeping with his own personal beliefs. And he said to me, the people on the other side of the world who have never done anything to me, I don't have any reason to want to go there and annihilate and kill them. Why?
Many people saw Muhammad Ali as a coward for making this decision. But Muhammad Ali took a stand for what he believed in, which was racial equality and peace.
I'm not going to help nobody get something my Negroes don't have. If I'm going to die, I'll die now, right here fighting you. If I'm going to die, you my enemy. My enemies are white people, not Viet Congs or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality.
Ali's decision inspired many more black and white people. This event was a main turning point in progressing the civil rights movement. Ali said, "I never thought of myself as great when I refused to go into the army. All I did was stand up for what I believed." On June 28, 1971, Muhammad Ali's conviction was overturned, and Ali was allowed to continue boxing. After his boxing career, Muhammad Ali vowed to devote his life to those in need. Ali created many charities to help the next generation of people. He wrote a speech on a piece of hotel paper that said, "I believe in helping children everywhere I go. It is important to me to use my time in a way which makes people feel better. That is why I support the work of a child's vision. I know their heart is in the right place. Remember, life is short and we never know when it will be over. What time I have left is to do the work of God. Now my time and life is for the children." Muhammad Ali passed away in 2016 due to Parkinson's disease. May he rest in peace, knowing that he will be remembered as a hero who stood up for what he believed in.